Good morning, students. Welcome to class 12. Welcome to geography class of class 12. You have already studied geography in class 11, but in class 11th you have covered the physical aspect of geography. By physical aspect I mean that you have studied the physical features, the landforms, the flora, fauna, mountains, rivers, etc. But the subject matter of geography is not limited to the physical aspect. The subject matter of geography is very extensive, so we have to study the other aspects of geography as well. As you know, students, that on this earth there are two main components. Now these two main components are man and nature. In other words, we can say that the physical environment and the human beings, these two are the biggest component on this earth. Over the years, there have been a lot of debates regarding the subject matter of geography, regarding what approach has to be adopted towards the study of geography, whether the approach should be a regional approach or a systematic approach, whether the subject should be considered as a theoretical subject or it should be considered as a descriptive subject. But not going into all these debates, we come to this conclusion that the two inseparable components of this earth, that is man and nature, and both of them have to be studied in a very holistic manner, and this is what has to be done in class 12th geography. The interrelationship between man and nature, how they equally interact with each other, and what is the mutual interaction, what is the impact of each other on it. This is what refers to in human geography. And the class 12th first chapter relates to the scope and nature of human geography. Here in this chapter we have to just study about what all you have to study in nature and scope of human geography. The different definitions have been given of human geography by geographers like Ratzel, then Sample, but we'll come to those definitions later on. If we turn back on the pages of history, students, we find that in the earliest time, during the early man, what used to happen was man was totally dictated by nature. All his actions were controlled by nature. Man was very afraid of nature, so he considered nature as the mother nature. The nature was the, you can say, the supreme controller of all actions of man. There was no technological development, and hence all the activities of man just was around nature. This was the time which is referred as naturalization of humans, or you can say natural determinism or environmental determinism. This was supported by geographers like Ratzel and Sample. But over the time, with the passage of time, this condition, which was referred as the state of necessity, got changed into a condition of freedom, where there was the state of possibilities, where man could interfere with nature, where man could utilize the things which were available in nature. This was the time which is referred as possibilism, where man was using nature as per the needs and requirements of his time. But these two are very extreme conditions. On one hand, we have the overpowerful nature, and on the other hand, we have man who can use the nature as per his needs and requirements. But these two were very extreme conditions. So students, over the time, there was a need that there should be somewhere a middle path. The middle path which was required so that there is a balance between man and nature. There should be a, you can say, the interaction that takes place should be in a balance. In 1920, a geographer, Griffith Taylor, he propounded a new theory, and that was called neo-determinism. Neo means new. So, neo-determinism was a concept that he propounded, which was the middle path between the natural determinism, where the nature was all powerful, and possibilism, where human beings started dominating nature. He molded the nature according to his needs and requirements. So, he propounded a theory, a middle path, where we can maintain a balance between the two. And this balance can be done only when there is a sustainable development. We have to consider that both the things are important. If we see in the present time, we can see the modern economies which have tried to interfere too much with the nature has started showing its repercussions. We have seen the ozone depletion, the greenhouse effect, the glaciers receding, and the very recent coronavirus that has come up. All these impact are showing that the nature is not happy. The nature is showing that it is not it's not at all satisfied with the total interference of man. So this is where we need to think over it. Now, if we think about the development of human geography over the corridors of time, there have been different schools of thoughts which have taken up this subject for study. There was a welfare school where which has studied about the and emphasized on the social well-being of the people, where they considered the health and education the foremost thing. There was the radical school of thought which gave importance to the problems like the poverty, or it's the deprivation, the social inequality, or the problems which have arisen due to the introduction of capitalism in this world. And thirdly, there was a behavioral school of thought which emphasized that the most important thing is the examples, and we have to learn from these experiences and examples and try to not to again and again do the same problems which have arisen, and not to do the same things again and again. Now, the human geography can also be studied under two broad heads, that is, you can say the economic geography and the social geography, and there are other further subfields of economic geography and social. All this is included in this chapter, and then you can go through the gist and the, you can say, the important points of this chapter which I have given. You can also do the question answers which I have given, and then read through the important points. Try to understand how human geography has evolved over the time. Thank you.